So she did.
Feel the same way.
She did.
All right. The Board of Education accepts the minutes of the Board of Education meetings held on August 7th, August 21st, and August 29th as detailed in Friday mailing. Moved by Mrs. Reed. Seconded by Mr. Smith. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Treasurer's report, the Board of Education acknowledges receipt of the Treasurer's report for the month of July 2019 as detailed in Friday mailing. Moved by Mrs. Reed, second by Mrs. DeResta. Any questions?
You guys have to be quick on the draw.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Now I'd like to turn it over, oh, actually, no, comments or reports? Yeah. Yeah, let's do that, thanks. Okay, turn it over to Dr. Kami.
So welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
They look so excited to be back. Each time over.
Raise your hand if you got each time. All right.
I drove by.
The commitment of our staff who work from home even when they're not supposed to be working. We had an awesome summer this summer. We had 7 summer programs this summer, which is more than we've ever had. And tonight we get to present some of the highlights from the summer. Mr. Miniella is with Harvard's Strategic Data Project today, so I am going to do his piece of it. And alongside that, you will see Jason White, who is here, reporting on summer school, Jimmy Calamara, who is reporting on our ENL program, Melanie Hirsch, who is going to report on ESY, extended school year, Andrew DiNapoli, who is going to report on
Cradle Aviation.
the middle school program, Mark Pocarelli, who is going to report on our new Jumpstart K program, and Andre Poprillo, who is going to report on our revised Fine and Performing Arts and Theater program from this summer. So, you're good looking, but your head's in my way. So I am going to start with our graduation report and then progress into our summer school. So if we had a drum, we would be doing a drum roll because our graduation rates are just outstanding. You can see the progression from June 2015 to a 90s. This is in our physical high school. 97% of the kids who go to our high school graduated high school. Now, included in that 3% of students who did not are students who are new and late to our high school, so they may have come into our high school deficient in credits already. They are some of our most severely disabled students who will not get a high school diploma but will be trained for job skills. So those are students who will be in our school through their 21st birthday. That 97% is just incredible. But those of you who know me will know that that will not suffice. And so, I do not know, but I'm going to estimate it's about 10. Our August graduation rate. So that includes some of the kids who needed a little extra time, might have failed one regent or failed a class. And so our August graduation rate brought that 97 to a 98% graduation rate. And that is just outstanding statistics. Our graduation rate district-wide, which includes all of the kids in out of district placements and all that, was north of 96%. All right, those are the oohs and ahs. That is due to the work of every one of our teachers, kindergarten through grade 12. It's the result of our support staff, And I will, our high school administration and our assistant superintendent, Mr. Mignella, who is on top of those numbers and on top of watching that the kids who are close make it to the finish line. It is a group effort. It's a real number, and it is really something for us to be proud of. Our advanced placement trends, we have gone up not only in the number of students who take AP classes, but the number of exams that our kids take. So, you know, in every single district across the nation, there are kids who sit in AP courses and then they don't culminate with the exam. For the record, if you don't take the exam, the AP part comes off your transcript. So we had 406 students sit for AP courses for a total number of 772 exams, and 281 of them scored a 3 or better. One of our newest classes, AP seminar, thank you. Was a brand new course last year. We had 39 students in the class. And 97% of those kids got a 3 or better in a brand new class. So that is also great. I'm going to ask Mr. Jason White to come up and talk a little bit about our secondary summer school program.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for having us tonight. All right, basically, our secondary summer program, the goals of our program were to provide students with credit recovery and credit enrichment. Secondly, we provide students with the opportunity to prepare for a Regents exam, earn a work credit, or take a driver education. So if the student wasn't successful during the traditional school year, we offered them an opportunity either to make a credit up, if the student wanted to enhance and take a class that they have in their schedule next year to make room for another class, they were able to do that. And then if they failed the Regents exam, they could take it, earn a work credit, which basically means if a student has a job within the community, they can get an elective credit for that. All right, so that would hit certain checkpoints throughout the year, and they can get an elective credit that'll take away from something during the school year. And driver education is self-explanatory. The structure of our programs, we were a Monday through Thursday program. We went from July 8th to August 12th, which worked out to be about 21 days of instruction, and each course was 80 minutes of instruction per day. We provided instruction for students 8 through 12, which means that the middle school students, they take earth science, Spanish, and algebra. If those students weren't successful during the year, they would come to our program. And then the last 8 days of summer school, we offered Regents review courses to students who failed the Regents in class, who failed the Regents in June, but passed the course. So it was just 8 days as a refresher, just to pass the course, just to pass the Regents, excuse me. In terms of outcomes, we had 279 students that we served for classes, 20 students enrolled in driver education, which means they got the credit for driver education, and then 50 of our students were enrolled in our work program, and they were able to get a credit into their next year. And as Dr. Kami said, that our high school 4-year August graduation rate was 98%, and then our district 4-year August graduation rate was 96%. So it was a very successful year, and it was very enjoyable.
Joe, how do you want us to handle questions tonight?
Do you want to wait until the end?
All the way
Yeah.
down? Okay.
So up next is Mr. Kalinaris, who is our Director of ENL and Foreign Language.
Thank you. Good evening. This is the 4th year of our ENL summer program, and every year it just keeps getting better and better. We are servicing students from kindergarten through 8th grade at the middle school program. All L students are eligible. We even have some former Ls whose parents have wished for their students to come, and if we have extra spots, we also allow them to come. We have 5 ENL teachers on staff, and we also have a bilingual clerical staff member to make sure that all of the kids are there every single day. This summer we had an excellent relationship with many of the colleges in our area, Queens College, Adelphi, and Hofstra. We had 16 student teachers in our program because word has gotten out and they all want to come to Baldwin. So with the 16 student teachers and our 5 teachers on staff, we were able to provide a 1-to-4 ratio to really dig deep with the students and to offer small group instruction in literacy to make sure that those students are making progress. The focus overall of the program is on literacy, but it's also content. And the reason why we do that is because many of our students come to us with gaps in their prior knowledge, and so we try to build that, especially through science. So we have them do hands-on activity and inquiry work-based so that they can have something to talk about, because also learning English is not just the words, but it's the content of the context. And because of this, our program really is a mix of intervention and enrichment. So we are looking to help the students that are struggling, but we're also trying to help the students that are pretty much already doing well, but that just need that extra boost to then become advanced.
And so, I know you guys know, but Jimmy Calamaris was named an Administrator of the Year by Molloy College this past year, so. Up next is Melanie Hirsch, who was our principal of our extended school year program.
Good evening, everyone. So our program services K through 12, all special needs students. The goal is to maintain their success from their school year, from whatever classes they were in, and increase success along the way, focusing on math and reading proficiency with some social and cultural awareness. We bring in different themes each week, different projects, different group activities where classes get to come together and kind of work with different children, so they are exposed to all different activities, working in different parts of the building, going outside. And we had 10 classes overall with around 80 students, all full-time staff from the district. We had a full support staff on our team. And we were also fortunate this year to have laptop parks with us, so all the classes were able to bring technology into their classrooms, and the kids were able to use their programs and succeed that way and excel into their new school year, so when they go back to their teachers in September, they're a little bit ahead of where they were before.
Thank you, Mrs. Hurd. And Andrew DiNapoli, who was really supervising, for the most part, our middle school summer program, which was a brand new program.
So the middle school program, this was, as Dr. Hammy said, a brand new program that was offered this summer. It was offered for our students who were exiting 6th grade and 7th grade, going into 7th grade and going into 8th grade. And essentially we wanted to build a program that was going to support students that we selected that would benefit from additional support and instruction in literacy, math, science, and social studies before they progress to the next grade. The Cradle of Aviation was chosen as a site for the program because we kind of wanted to rethink what a learning space kind of looks like for the kids, because we wanted something that was going to be engaging, something that was going to allow the students to participate in inquiry-based discussions and allowing students to also partake and participate in collaborative exercises. So the learning spaces really allowed students to kind of investigate topics and kind of work together and problem solve the topics. The curriculum was designed in collaboration with the educators at the Cradle of Aviation, as well as the academic supervisors here at Baldwin District, because we just wanted to ensure that the curriculum that students were going to be exposed to throughout the summer really did align and help propel students and support them for that next grade that they were going into. Essentially, the way that the program was structured, we broke the program up into 2 sessions. The morning session was for our 6th grade students, and our afternoon session was for our 7th grade students. And essentially, we provided transportation from the middle school to the Cradle of Aviation back to the middle school for students also to be picked up. We had 80 students enrolled, so we had 40 6th graders enrolled in the morning and 40 7th graders enrolled in the afternoon. And students, out of the 40, each were split up into 2 sections of 20. So students were able to have more of an intimate conversation and learning space with both educators, as well as them being able to break down into smaller groups or partnerships. The outcomes, students were able to really kind of investigating and kind of have larger conversations about really interesting essential questions. And the program was broken up into 5 weeks, and each of the 5 weeks had a different topic and theme, so that students were able to kind of be exposed to different units of study along the way. So for example, one of the questions that students got to kind of explore was, is technology helpful or dangerous to society, especially with flight, because there's the argument that can be discussed how flight has helped basically our society, and how flight has also posed as a danger to our society. So students were really able to kind of grapple with that idea. Students were able to kind of work on projects and problem solve together. They got to create kind of a hydraulic arm in terms of the biomimicry unit, so they kind of got to see what it actually means to make an artificial arm. And basically students were also able to meet a real astronaut, because Creative Aviation was hosting the 50th anniversary of the lunar mission from 69. So essentially, Creative Aviation was having a lot of astronauts and a lot of representatives from NASA come and visit. So 6th graders got to meet Phil Shepard in the morning. Other outcomes, we had a Google Forms that we sent out to students because we kind of wanted their feedback on their experiences with the program. So it's really great because from the survey, students were able to share the things that they loved and things that they would have loved to experience within certain units. Some students even had suggestions of how they would even extend certain units because they really loved the topics of discussion. So we're really going to take student surveys of units that they loved and were really interested in, because we can meet with Creative Aviation probably in the fall, roughly in November, to start talking about curriculum for next year based on student feedback. So it was a fun summer.
Thank you. And Mark Cocorelli, who is internationally placed second in the future problem solvers of the world. So,
so I ran the kindergarten summer jumpstart program this year. It was the first year of the program, and it was very successful. This program was some students' first experience in school. Not every child has gone to preschool, so this was an eye-opener for some of them. It was a great opportunity for the children to learn school routines, build their foundational skills in math and literacy, learn their numbers, their letter sounds, how to walk in a line, how to share, how to line up and wait for the teacher in the morning, all the things that we take for granted but has to be directly taught to these students. So we had 51 students enrolled. The program was Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 12 o'clock, roughly 23 days of instruction from July 1st to August 2nd. We started with a morning meeting, then the students went into small group differentiated literacy centers. They had some gross motor play outside, because we definitely wanted to be developmentally appropriate and not just sitting at our desk all day. Many of the students were just 4 years old. Then they came inside, they had a working snack, differentiated math centers, and then they ended the day with a closing meeting. Program outcomes were extremely successful. We did beginning of program assessments and then assessment again at the end of the program, and many of the students left knowing all their letters, all of their sounds, numbers 1 through 10, so had that core foundational skills. So really, they're on the track to soar. And we'll be looking at these students throughout the year and trying to compare them to students that didn't go to the program to really see the benefit of the program.
and I just want to add, so imagine being a kindergarten student. This is your first year in school, and you start kindergarten behind your peers, right? They don't know their letters, they don't know their numbers, and so by creating this program, we level the playing field for 51 kids who would have not only started academically differently than their peers, but how would you feel if you were that kid that saw all the other kids in your class who knew their ABCs and their 1, 2, 3s and you didn't? So from a social emotional standpoint, it really helped those kids to be where everybody else was. I will tell you too that I visited that program the last week of the program. It was the second to last or the third to last day. And I went into all the classrooms and I asked in a couple of cases, are you guys ready for kindergarten? And they said, yes, can we start tomorrow? You know, I mean, they were just excited to be there, you know, so it was a great program on a lot of different levels. So, and Mr. Cocorelli, like, just went with it, so.
Yeah, well,
Next up, Mr. Poprillo, who is going to speak about our summer art program.
Good evening, thank you for the opportunity to talk about the arts. Our summer art program came back, albeit in a slightly different form than in the past. Some of you may be familiar with that. We partnered with the Atlantic Wind Symphony, which is a professional organization of musicians out in Suffolk County. And they helped us, along in our partnership with the Baldwin UFSD Music and Art, to bring in a program that met the district's compliance needs with a program that is running from an outside organization but functioning in our schools. And this was something very important that we needed to make this turn to. We're very happy that this has happened. This organization has been a really good fit for us, and we're able to create a real sustainable model moving forward. So that was a big goal for us that we achieved. This program really helps us to jumpstart good practice in music and introduce really important skills that happen as we develop our theater program. The theater program in 6th grade, when students come in and participate, it's the first time they're really in a real sort of pressure cooker situation for about 10 weeks. So we really want them to understand, and their parents, that there's a significant commitment that goes on. That's a little different than the casual participation that might happen in the day. Things run a little at a different pace. So we're really excited about that. The structure of the program, we had 90 students enrolled, which is pretty awesome, and we're looking to grow that considerably in the future. Mixture of grades from 3 all the way up to 9, generally speaking. And sometimes we get high school students that are really gifted, and they come in and they assist as mentors in the process. We had several of our staff members work as instructors, and generally speaking, the feedback was enormous from both students and parents. And as I debriefed with the teachers, they felt like the students are going to start back the next year in really good shape. We were able to put a lot of time and energy into ceramics, which is something we don't always get a lot of chance to do during the year. But the program at the end was a culminating activity where art students showed their work in a gallery format. Our music students in band and in orchestra gave final concerts, and then there was a sort of a variety show at the end for theater, which was very cute. And generally speaking, we're really excited about the future. We're hoping to use this format to offer a wide variety of things. So I've already started canvassing staff about interesting things that they want to run next year. We're going to hit the ground running in March, seeing if we can try to open new classes. So the future looks bright for this program, and again, it's all about partnerships. Almost all of us talk about the partnerships that bring our work together to move it forward. Thank you for these opportunities. Tammy?
Thank you. Before I go to the board, before I go to my list, if you have questions?
I have a couple.
Sure.
So, I was just curious as to how students were selected for certain programs, like for the E&L program and for the pre-K program, or the Jumpstart K program. How were students, like, was it when they came to register, you kind of like said, okay, did you go to pre-K, and you were able to glean information that way, for ESL? And I guess one of the questions was answered about tracking the students throughout the year. I was curious to know about the E&L situation as well.
So our Jumpstart K students, when kids registered for kindergarten, they're given a kindergarten readiness assessment, and those students who were not ready for kindergarten were asked to participate in the program. The E&L students?
For E&L, all E&L students are invited, and then we also have targeted students that we ask to come to make sure that we want them to be in school so that they can continue to make progress.
And so we're going to watch them throughout the course of the year to see,
Yes.
you know, what worked over the summer helped them.
We're actually waiting for our fall benchmark so that we can have some really good data to show, because not only from the summer, but we also had a special program in the spring, so we want to be able to show the students that participated in these additional programs how they compare to students that did. So that's forthcoming.
With Cradle Aviation, how were they selected for that one?
Sure, so it was a combination of elements. So we have our diagnostic tools that we use to assess how our students are progressing in reading and math. We also use progress reports, we use students' academic achievement, and we also have teacher and administrative conversations through RTI meetings as well as team meetings.
Okay.
So it was basically a combination of kind of both the quantitative and qualitative kind of observations that we're kind of using to see how our students are progressing. So initially what we wanted to see was where our students, which students kind of were struggling across disciplines as kind of our first priority that we really kind of wanted to address and select for the program.
Was there a cap placed on, so you said 40 for 6 and 40 for 7, could it have been 45 or 50 or?
So for the way that the program was designed, we had 80 spots basically
Okay,
available.
80 spots.
So remember, it's the first year that we're doing the program where there's things that we need to tweak for next year. For all of our programs, I mean, even the long-standing programs, we tweak as
So
we.
this wasn't an enrichment program that,
The only enrichment program is the art program.
gotcha, okay.
And I guess, I don't know, it must be in like Mars these days. I don't recall seeing anything come out about the enrichment program for the arts.
Oh, yeah, for the arts,
I missed that.
I did get it.
Emails came out.
I missed it. I don't know.
that was middle schooler.
So there were many.
My
things that went out.
children participated, so
I mean,
I got it several times and I was definitely late to submit. After the deadline, I have to say. But it worked out. Yeah, honesty is the best.
Well, I definitely even in that same boat.
Yes,
So I'm not gonna.
it went through online, and you have to do it
When you
online.
get
I
it
didn't
and
go
you take
through
the
any
spirit and you
special
send her an email
AIP
so that-
status. I went online and they took the money, so I'm like,
Yeah, they were connected.
maybe it was virtual backpack and so forth.
No, they were
did
also
something.
connected.
So my question for the arts, while we're talking about that, is, was it all of our staff, like district staff, that, or were there mixed up the Winston fee? I don't know what their part was, because. when I
Their
went
role
there-
is administrative in nature. So
Okay.
their role is to make sure that we're meeting the district's needs in terms of an outside organization running a program here in Baldwin schools.
Got it.
So I made sure that we met those objectives, and partnership with that organization helped us do that.
Okay, but the staffing was pretty much,
So staffing is something that I control.
great.
So they're all people that essentially serve our students during the year. Part of the draw for that, for me and for the staff, is that they really get, it's a self-fulfilling dynamic. They get to sort of support their students. Our theater director for the high school is working down here, so she's seeding the ground that will eventually bloom to her later on in the high school.
And how many students participated? You may have said that.
90, our target was 100. I wanted to make sure it was scaled appropriately so that it can grow. And we hit, we hit all the marks we need to hit, so 90 students.
Theater was new, right?
So it was new.
Theater is in its
Second year.
second iteration, but
They had it.
we refined it this year.
They had it the year before.
And
Since it
about
wasn't, it
90.
didn't go last year, but then.
Yes.
So it's not that.
Thank you.
So I had a couple of questions.
Yeah.
On the secondary summer school program, just curious, are all of the jobs in this community, or they can have jobs anywhere?
I believe it's in this community because what happens is we have a site coordinator, Mr. Kelly and Ms. Leonardo, the two business teachers. They visit them, but it has to be within a close proximity for them to be able to visit them on site.
Thank you. And my other question, I just lost my page. On the E&L program, is there anything that we do to make sure that we're getting the support of the families for the kids once they go home, or to be able to somehow involve the families?
So Jimmy, talk a little bit about the Malloy program.
So in the Soaring Saturdays program at Plaza School, there was a component that involved parents. So parents would be able to drop off their children and the children would get instruction. and then the parents would stay for a seminar to just talk about how to help their students, at home, how to read with them, how to help them with their homework. So there was a component with that, and also some of the teachers at Plaza took it upon themselves because we have bilingual teachers there, and they also provided seminars for parents as well.
And Mark, on that, did you get any reaction from parents that had their kids in the Jumpstart Pay program?
Leading up to it, there was some reaction, but once they were there and saw what was going on, I mean, there was nothing but positive feedback from the students and the parents.
It wasn't mandatory.
It was not mandatory.
No.
Remember, what happens also at the first year of something is there's a lot of uncertainty around what it is and what's involved. But when I walked in that program, I mean, the kids were so excited to be there.
I'm curious to hear from the kindergarten teachers, like 2 months
Oh,
from
we happen
now,
to have one
to
right
see,
now.
to see if they see a difference.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to hear, if you
Well,
notice a difference.
There is a huge difference
Great.
in they all know how to sit on the carpet, they all know how to walk in a line. Just the few that maybe didn't attend the program or registered late for kindergarten, and that's a big chunk of your kids that were there,
How
so.
about
So you're able to
academically?
do more early.
Yeah, academically, we already started doing the assessments, and they're much further along than they
Perfect.
were
That's what I
last year,
figured.
so it was huge, and on behalf of all the kindergarten teachers, thank you.
I've heard
It really
that
does
sometimes.
make a huge difference
Okay.
when they've never been to
And I
school.
also want to emphasize that, the program, the kids loved being in the program. So this was not, let's sit and make kids learn how to do a ditto. It was not, we must school these kids so that they can do well on an assessment, which there were some people out there that wanted people to believe that. There are some kids that don't have the benefit that other kids have of going to nursery school or pre-K or having parents that read to them every night. And so this is an equity issue, right? And so when we recognize that there are kids coming to our kindergarten program that are not prepared to be in kindergarten, because whether you like it or not, you're going to go to kindergarten and there are certain prerequisite skills that allow you to be on par with everybody else. We've seen over the years that, if we take it seriously that we want every single student to read by grade 3, then what's our obligation to those kids? And so if we know that kids are coming into kindergarten not ready for kindergarten, and we have a program that's fun, that kids want to be there, and, there are some people that will criticize anything.
Right.
But I'm telling you from my own eyes, those kids loved being there. Academically, they thrived. Socially, they thrived. You see that part of it was playtime outside, because that social being is part of what it means to be, a citizen and a student. Well worth everything, and from the testimony of our teachers.
And we grouped them by school, so when they were in a class, they were with students that they were going to be with. So the first day of school, they knew somebody when they went to
That's nice.
kindergarten.
Where was
That
this
gets
held?
the
It
R.
was at Plaza.
Any other questions?
All right, thank you guys.
I have one
Appreciate
more
it.
question, actually. It's been the work
She wants to know
program.
when the portal's opening.
March.
Okay, we have time. The work program, the elective work credit, is that new? That's the first?
No, it's
year?
always been, it's
Oh,
always been. Yeah, so it's through the Mr. Kelly and Miss Leonardo. And I think there's advertisements before the end of the school year. And then you
Okay.
sign up for it, and there's certain checkpoints they have to hit over the summer, and they get a work credit.
One, right?
One work credit, and then it carries over, so if they want to, not take something elective-wise, they can.
Okay, great.
So I'm gonna piggyback on that. So it's the Friday before Labor Day. Teachers came back we're here on Thursday and Friday. Monday is Labor Day, so it's a day off. The Friday before Labor Day, I get an email from, nobody knows this yet, by the way, she does, from the representative from the New York State Association of Business Teachers. that Miss Leonardo was named the New York State Outstanding New Teacher of the Year. School didn't even start, and we already started getting accolades for our school district. So, she'll formally be presented, but that was in her second year of teaching in Baldwin and received that award. So thank you guys for.
Yes, thank you for your
Thank you.
presentation.
I'm gonna just quickly go through. Start of the school was, there's always some bumps along the way, but for the most part, incredibly smooth in our schools. The transition to school was very smooth. Our new staff orientation, our new teachers went from looking like the kindergartners on the first day of school, like, scared to death, to having like best friends by the time that week was over. We had 2 days of retreats for our administrators. The first day of retreat was a combination of going to the tenement museum. So we were studying the question of, is change natural? Because we're talking about change and change of what learning looks like. We went to the tenement museum, we went to the African burial ground, and we went to the Museum of Jewish Heritage to see the Auschwitz exhibit. I can tell you that the bus ride back to Baldwin, which, by the way, our administrators were at the high school by 7:15. The bus left at 7:30 in the morning, and we did not get back to the high school until 20 to 7 that night. You can hear a pin drop in that bus on the way back, and
Sleeping.
I think it was a combination of being contemplative, reflective, and really feeling a lot of sadness. But the emphasis on the word feeling. And so, we did follow up a little bit. I let everybody sort of like get through that, and then a little bit of follow up in the bus. And that is a question that we will be studying over the course of the year. But this idea of, all of our heritages and what we've been through as a society, and channeling that, bridging that over. So schools in 1960, 70, 80, 90, 2000, 2010, 2020, what do we think learning looks like in 2035? And what does that change process feel like? What can we learn about the history of change and the future of change? And that is something that we are going to be working with all year. The board is going to be working with. So I think it's good. The second day of the retreat was with a gentleman by the name of Steve Brown, who is in charge of the Innovation Center at Southern New Hampshire University, and he is going to be working with us along with Greg McNulty over the course of this school year, continuing the study of what is change, and is change natural, and how do we as leaders know and understand that in a way that helps us lead through a process of change that gets us to a desired outcome. Opening day with faculty, I'm going to commentary, you guys can agree or disagree. I think it was awesome.
Yes.
We had it set the tone for the year. I heard that from a lot of people. So, it was good. I can tell you that over the so since my Friday update, since the August meeting, we have been in Newsday for our graduation requirements. The AP reporter we've been in about 10 or 12 different publications. Good Housekeeping magazine interviewed and quoted Mrs. Maldonado. Parents magazine interviewed Mr. DiNapoli. Newsday, once again, Mrs. Maldonado. Monday, I have an op-ed coming out in Newsday, and we were in AASA's, the National School Superintendent's Organization, in their mentoring, and that was just in the month of August. Plaza was recognized as a National PTA School of Excellence. Congratulations, Plaza. We have had, on the first day of school, the first precinct was a presence at all of our schools, as was all of the precincts in Nassau County. just to basically welcome kids back and just, speak to the principals. And last, I'm gonna congratulate James Robinson on receiving his doctorate this last year. And that's just a few of the things that we did in August.
That's the few.
That's it.
Thank you. They didn't get to stay for the entire meeting, they look like they're ready to leave.
I don't know, what's it worth to you?
It's there, though, up to you.
What'd you say?
Yeah, after the.
Our board comments.
Oh, yes, your board comments, yes, sorry, guys. All right.
This one?
Yes, comments from the board.
So I just wanted to say congratulations to all the people who received commendation for last year. I mean, it's amazing. Not that we are surprised, because we know that we have stellar staff here. So, but I just want to publicly go on record and say congratulations. I also want to say I'm sorry that I missed opening day. I was in Chicago with my dad. My sister and I gave him a Father's Day gift. But I saw the videos. I was cracking up hysterically on the outtake with Ed. I watched it a second time, that it was hilarious. So, congratulations and good luck to a great year.
And my son tortured me until 5:30 at night, the night before, to finish that. Well, 5:30 at night, the night before. So those of you who have sons, it doesn't change.
Ms. Cool?
Right, Mr. Smith?
What were you talking about, executive functioning?
Exactly.
I would just like to say also thank you so much to all of you and all of your hard work and dedication, and it is very much acknowledged and appreciated, and we're all lucky to have you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I would just echo exactly what Mrs. Cole said. It's such a great bunch of people in this district, so thanks.
Yes.
Have a good year.
Enjoy the school year. We'll see you all quite often.
Go home and get some sleep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. We lose our crowd.
All right.
Oh, we did. You guys should hang out with my wife.
Okay. So at this time, we'll take comments and questions from our audience. The way
I'm just curious, how much did Darren pay you to make sure you got that clicker back from me?
This is Anthony.
Oh. Gotta go. Seems like you definitely
They claim I have a drawer full of them, it's a lie, it's not true.
That's so funny. All right.
Anthony texted me to make sure. He's a big presentation, you get the clicker.
He did not.
For the record, I have there.
There's a quick picture of yes. Okay, no pictures.
Well, at least you get to hold one, because Steve never got to hold it.
Oh, man. All right. Back to business. So, comments and questions from our audience. We're given 3 minutes to state your comment, and make sure you state your name and your address prior to stating your comment. It cannot be personnel related, and you can address myself with a question or student related. And you cannot talk about individuals or students. So, yes,
Crystal Strong, I live at you said address?
name and address,
Okay,
yes.
Crystal Strong, 688 Baldwin Avenue. I had a question about the summer program for extended, I think you said extended.
Extended school year.
Extended school year. How do I get my children involved in that for, I guess, next summer?
So extended school year is a program that is specifically on IEPs of students.
Yeah.
So that's through the CSE, it's whatever the CSE recommends. We don't pick those kids.
So would the teacher have already, because I have 2 children who have IEPs, and that wasn't offered to them, so like, is that something I should have, I didn't know anything about it until this is my first Board of Ed meeting. So is that something that I
It's
should ask?
usually not this much fun.
So is that something I can ask for, like next?
Sure, the IEP that you currently have will run from June 30th of the school year. At the annual review meeting, you certainly can talk to the committee about the eligibility for extended school year services.
Okay.
Basically, you have to be able to demonstrate the child would have significant regression in order to be eligible to attend that program.
Okay.
It's typically our students in a self-contained 811 type program who usually attend that program in the summer.
Oh, okay, so they would, I guess the teacher would see that they would need that.
Correct.
Okay.
And you
So
certainly
again,
can inquire.
I think the key there is it's mostly for students who are most disabled, who are in an 811 program.
Okay, okay.
Any other questions? Welcome to your first meeting.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the audience? All right. Hearing none, we'll continue. The Board of Education approves the personnel actions report dated September 11, 2019 as detailed in the Friday mailing, as addended. Moved by Mrs. Reeves, second by Mrs. Pools. Due to the confidentiality of this, it will not be discussed in public. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. There is no board action this month. Okay, so we don't have special services report. Business items. Board of Education accepts with thanks the second donation in the amount of $2,000 from the New Jersey Alliance for Social, Emotional, and Character Development to be used to refine the character education program in Plaza and Brookside schools as detailed in the Friday mailing. So moved by Mrs. Reed, second by Mr. Smith. Any questions? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. As board president, I'm calling for consideration of the business items in tonight's agenda as consent items. This includes business items 2 through 9. Are there any items members would care to withdraw from consideration under the consent agenda for further discussion and a separate vote? All right, no? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, including business items 2 through 9?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Reed, second by Ms. Pools. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, no opposed? All right, motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve items 2 through 9?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Reed, second by Ms. Pools. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Board of Education approves the updated use of facilities report for September 2019 through June 2020 as detailed in the Friday mailing. Moved by Mrs. Reed, second by Mr. Smith. Any questions? All those in favor? Motion carries. All right, voting delegate. Yes, so we have our regional conference this, in October, and at the annual meeting, we would need a delegate from our district to present our votes that we'll be discussing not only this evening, but going forward. So at this time, I guess we'll have to get a motion and ask the questions as to who will do it.
Decide first and then.
Decide first, right? Okay. Is there anyone that's scheduled to leave before the meeting? I guess before, so you're scheduled, so you cannot do it. So Mrs. Reed cannot participate and be the voting delegate. So that leaves myself, Ms. Pools, or Mr. Smith to at least, I'm sorry? I don't know. She's not here, so I would say it's really us three to make a decision, either one of us to be a voting delegate at this time.
So I'll say, I have no problem doing it because I did it last year and it was very interesting. But I did it last year and it is very interesting, so as a new board member, you might be curious.
So we're not
So
all at that
Saturday,
meeting?
so it's, no, one delegate, I mean, we can go, I can go and sit in the background, but the delegate is the person that actually raises the card and says yes or no for each resolution that's discussed. You're at the table, you're holding the district card and presenting the vote. It's on that Saturday, the meeting starts at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Sure, yeah, thanks for the suggestion, Sue.
I'm not trying to throw you
No,
under the
no,
bus or
She's
anything.
just saying, I
No,
mean,
not at all, no, this, New York State PTA does something exactly like this, so I get it, yeah.
Oh,
What
okay.
time?
I think you don't know when it's or.
Yeah, we don't know when it ends, that's why I said what flight,
I think it's like 2:30, so that would.
Okay,
that
so
would be
we're
enough
fine,
time.
right, I'll probably just stop by and,
Okay,
so
yeah, sure.
whatever
That sounds
works.
interesting.
Okay, you sure you're good with that? I think it's a good experience
Thank you
as
for
we're
the
schools.
suggestions.
I just got some, when I was first, I had the president thing and the board thing, I don't realize something.
Just to know that he understands what it is, so we'll be there.
Sounds interesting.
Like you said, you've done the PTA thing, so.
Do we need an alternate?
We should have an alternate.
I'll be an alternate.
Okay,
Okay.
And that can be
All right.
great.
that's great. So the Board of Education designates Mr. Smith as voting delegate and Ms. Pools as alternate voting delegate to the 2019 NISBA annual meeting.
So,
Moved by Mrs. Reed, second by Mrs. DeRusca. Any questions? All those in favor? All right, motion carries. Under other, are there any topics of discussion? All right. So, how do we do this part? Do I have to go to read dates? I'm going to read dates, but I'm asking a different question.
Yeah,
So-
so then you can, take a break, so if you go and then you can adjourn.
When we're, okay. So essentially what I'll do now is just read some important dates. All of them, we can choose. Say again? Yeah, like I said, not, oh, you know me, I'm not. So know your school night for middle school, Thursday, September 12th at 7 p.m. at the middle school. There's school night, just check the calendar, baldwinschools.org for your respective elementary schools or high school. School is closed on Monday, September 30th and Tuesday, October 1st. And our next Board of Education meeting is Wednesday, October 2nd at 8 p.m. at Brookside.
So that's unusual, because it's the first
Yes,
Wednesday, because the
it's the
following
first.
one is not.
Yep, I'm just looking to see if there's anything else we should hear. No, but I mean, the good news is, like I said, baldwinschools.org, everything's there.
You can download the calendar to your phone.
Yes, that is a plus. So at this time, we're taking a break because the board will have to go through some proposed resolutions for our meeting that will be taking place in October. So the meeting's not adjourned, but there's really